Yeah,
My bad.
thanks, Christy.
I had one job.
One job. Yeah, one assignment. I'm kidding. That's my assignment too. So, yeah, Christy and I were going to be, the entertainment for today, for this evening that you signed up for. Hey, folks, it's free, so you get what you get. No, we are. We really love our programs. We have Christy and I. Just a little background on us. We work together, of course, as trainers for YogaFit, but really intentionally the first time was creating the Warriors program. And I do think that was the genesis of our therapy program, eventually becoming a big part, a big piece of our therapy program. So for those who don't know, YogaFit for Warriors started back in 2013 was the first workshop, launched at Fort Belvoir. I cannot believe it's been that long. And we had like 26 people. Since then, it's I don't even know how many, at least 1,000 people, right, have taken our workshops of one form or another. Hundreds have graduated from either our 100-hour Warriors program. We expanded into a 140-hour Warriors program, and now we have a 200-hour Warriors program. And from there, Christy had been working after she helped co-create the Warriors program. She started to work on the therapy program. And that in and of itself was a labor, a labor of love, but an intense labor. That is a whole separate certification that is formally recognized by IAYT, which is the International Association of Yoga Therapists. Warriors program, that's trauma-informed yoga, is a piece of it, and a big piece and a foundational piece because of the information about polyvagal theory and the nervous system. So anyway, we're here to give you a brief overview about it. And Chrissy's going to go into more detail about how to do the therapy program, yoga therapy. What is yoga therapy, first of all? And it's fine if you're just like, I don't know anything about yoga therapy. She's going to explain kind of what it is, how it's growing as a profession. We are a yoga therapy school. We've been a yoga therapy school since 2016, correct, Christy? Yes, 16?
2019 officially.
Oh, 2019 officially. I was terribly wrong on that. We must have been implying starting in 2016.
Well, yeah, we've been teaching therapy since 2008, and then it's just
Right. That's a
grown and
good
grown.
point.
And we
Yeah.
started doing the accreditation process in 2016. That between 2016 2019, that's when a lot of tears and sweat and hard work.
Yeah, we're still in therapy over that ourselves.
Yes.
And before I get too far down, I'd love to say, everybody say, hey, shout out to everybody join us. If you don't mind putting in the chat, if you want, you don't have to. I just think it's kind of fun. Where are you Zooming from? If you've graduated from any of our programs already, or if you're brand new to YogaFit, I'd love to see that in the chat. Especially I can respond to you, say hi, whatever, when Christy's talking. So please, please feel free. We want to connect with you. Truly, like this is an opportunity to connect. We lead on Zoom all the time. This is our main gig. I'm getting ready to lead a workshop this weekend on teen mental health. And so I just got done last week leading somatosensory. And I just love this amazing ability to connect from all over the world. It's so cool. It's so exciting. And just to hear, especially if you live in a smaller community or you don't have a yoga community where you are, you may feel kind of isolated and wondering, is someone else out there? Do they care about the same things I do? The answer is yes. That's what I get out of it. It's like, okay, there is a whole bunch of people out here who are doing good in the world. Boy, do we need that information right now, right? Like we all are going to gather together, I think next Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to do some meditation, do some grounding. I don't know if that's actually a thing. I'm thinking about it. Maybe we'll do that. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So please put in the chat where you're Zooming from if you graduate from any of our programs, any fun fact about you. So I'm going to just talk about, I don't like to waste time. Like, right, we're here for a certain reason. And so I'm going to get right to it. This is being recorded, but you're not going to be on it. Don't worry about it. Unless you speak up, then you will be recorded. And that's fine. Just giving you full disclosure that will be happening. Okay, so this is the Warriors program, and I'm going to briefly go through it. Some of you are very familiar with it. This program started as 100 hours. Like I said, it's now grown to 200. Why? Well, because it started, I was in the military. I served 28 years in the Air Force. I also have a master's in counseling, and I did my practicum year, my internship at the psych ward over in Landstuhl, Germany in 2003. That's when we started, when we went into Iraq. I say for the second time because we did that earlier in the 90s. and started seeing mostly Army, young Army men, mostly 19 to 24 years old, being admitted to the psych ward for trauma, psychological trauma. And that's what got my interest. First of all, I was like, wait a minute, I don't really know much about PTSD. I went through this 4-year program, studied a lot of things. We really didn't talk about trauma. We did not. It wasn't the foundation. Yes, some childhood stuff, of course, that was just like sort of a given, but no one really had the in-depth or didn't give me the in-depth information about trauma from a nervous system perspective, what it does to it from a brain perspective, basically from a biological perspective at all. And so that's what I was dealing with. And all I had were my talk therapy words. And you can tell I'm a talker. So, God, I thought it was so good. I talk all day long. That really wasn't helping any of my patients. And they were patients at the time. And I felt so frustrated. I felt so defeated. I had been doing yoga back in 1998. I started because Oprah went on Madonna. I'm sorry, Madonna went on Oprah. That was my dyslexia. And I was like, oh, she looks good. I mean, I was in my 20s, so I wanted to look good. But what I was surprised by, and so many are, is we come to yoga thinking we're going to get one thing out of it. And I remember thinking, I feel really good. And that wasn't my normal in my 20s, right? I had a lot of anxiety, had some depression at times. And all of a sudden I was like, I was feeling good most of the time when I practiced. When I couldn't practice yoga for some time, I didn't feel so good. It's like, there is something here. And I wanted to bring yoga on the psych ward. They would not let me. They were like, nope, Shay, we don't do that here. And they probably had good reason to say that. And I also didn't have a good argument why it works. I didn't have the science that we do now. So that's what really bore the Warriors program. Things like polyvagal theory, of course, and the deep, I mean, an amazing understanding we have now of exactly how trauma impacts your nervous system, stress, right? And childhood trauma especially, but then subsequent traumas, they do a number on you, complex traumas. All right, so then Warriors was born out of that. So level 1's required. That's part of our 200-hour program, but you can double dip on this. You can take level 1 for either reason, and it counts. So don't have to retake it. So that's cool. So we learn basic teacher skills, right? And we do that in 2 days, and you get a lot of information pretty quickly, but then you get opportunity to practice it. Warriors, another 2 days. By the way, each of these is a workshop. The name is a workshop. They're 2-day programs. YogaFit for Warriors, 2 days, PTSD, talk about polyvagal theory, and definitely focus on the military, but also first responders, frontline medical workers after the pandemic, teachers after the pandemic. Really, it's applicable to anybody who works in trauma. Emotional and physical trauma, this is Christy's baby. Amazing, focus on the brain and the HPA axis, another 2 days. Restoring balance, again, Christy's workshop, training the parasympathetic, where we learn the real science of the nervous system and how to measure that impact through heart rate variability. And vagal hacking, we talk about, of course, the vagus nerve. It's a lot more than that. I've just given you the little snippets of it. Mood balancing, focus on anxiety and depression from an Ayurvedic standpoint. And if you're not familiar with Ayurveda, it's considered the sister science of yoga, looking at it from your unique dosha. And you know, it doesn't see it as a disorder from the Ayurvedic view. We just see anxiety and depression as you're just out of balance, like a teeter-totter, right? And anytime we're out of balance, it's going to manifest and look like anxiety and depression. And what you do with it from a yoga perspective. Addiction and recovery, we don't just talk about drugs and alcohol. We talk about the big 6 addictions to include technology addictions. And I want everyone, raise your hand. Right, it's a 12-step. Yes, we've had to be. So what do we do about it? So it's like no judgment, no blame, no shame. And we look at it from a science perspective as well. What are the neurochemicals involved in addiction and recovery? Really good stuff, by the way. Amazing workshop. Chronic pain. Folks, if you have trauma, you have chronic pain. Dealing with it right now, family member going through something, and all of a sudden the caretaker of that family member just manifests as extreme back pain. It's absolutely 100% real. That pain is real, but why is that happening? You know, as you know, Western medicine doesn't have a good solution for chronic pain. Yoga does, because it absolutely rewires us. Intergenerational collective trauma, that came out of the pandemic 100%. There's the collective trauma, the horizontal line of trauma. There's the vertical through line, that's intergenerational. Epigenetics shows how trauma gets handed down 7 generations. Somatosensory, that's one of the brand new ones. I love it so much. It's becoming so popular, and in fact, so popular that I'm doing a somatosensory too, launching that at our Palm Springs MBF. Somatics, we talk about what is somatics. It's a specific lineage. We're blending it with yoga and getting into things like somatic motor amnesia. Like when you disassociate from the body, what are you not feeling. And then pain is usually a signal that we've disassociated from the body. It's just to say, hey, pay attention to me. We look at things like the default mode network in your brain and how yoga can help train things, your reticular activating system in your brain. A lot of brain science in that one. That's why I love it. And then Warrior Kids, childhood trauma. We look at ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. We look at, oh, help me out here. All of a sudden, my brain just dropped the other big thing that we talk about. Oh, well, someone knows. You all took it. It gets to the root of the disease.
ACEs?
ACEs, right. Adverse childhood experiences, ACEs. And then my brain just dumped the other big one, but I know it's there. It'll come back to me. Okay, so that's our program. Very cool. You could take these individually. You could take them on your own. We have a lot of mental health professionals. So if you're looking for like, what's the point of this? Some people take it for their own personal benefit. Absolutely, you can. So lots of people coming to these programs for different reasons, or you could just kind of piecemeal, like I actually work in the addiction and recovery field. I'd like to come to that workshop. You can do that. In fact, I'm starting to teach at an addiction recovery center. There's a huge demand for that. And dealing with, of course, anxiety, chronic pain, underlying, you take away the addiction, there's pain there all the time. So that's why all these blend together so well. And not only do we have a 200-hour Warriors program, I know this is overwhelming. Don't look at it sideways or look away for a minute. Don't worry about it. I just want to point out we have a 300 RYT. Your 200 Warriors is not an RYT. It is a trauma-informed certification that we provide. This is an actual registered yoga teacher. So if you already have a 200 from another program, you can come take these. And so you get two things at once. It's so cool. You get a 300 RYT. And if you notice, it's all the same workshops plus your 200-hour Warriors so that you can stack certificates. And then you get a lot of these wonderful programs, if you look over here on the elective side of it, that help you if you want to eventually go towards therapy. So we have two 300 programs in YogaFit. We have a traditional one, and then we have this one. And so if you're like, I don't know which one I should take, reach out to me, warrioryogafit.com. I will help you with that. And then finally, just real quick, we have things like the Yin Network. For $90 a year, you get 25% off at MBF. You get access to our yoga flows on demand. That's an amazing benefit. That's $8 a month alone, where we upload new work, or I should say new classes every week. So you can come just take cool yoga classes, a lot of them trauma informed. So that's a unique thing. And then we have webinar series. If you're looking for something you're like, I don't know, you want to get a little taste of what we provide, we offer free stuff. Woohoo. So this Saturday with Kristen Mabry, we have the Power of Gratitude coming up. She does an amazing job with this. So amazing that she does a more in-depth one. And for $20, you can take her webinar on it. I'm doing one on a somatic chair yoga class in December. And then we have another free self-care Saturday with Gwendolyn on mobility and massage slow flow. That's going to be so cool. I'm going to take that one for sure. Palm Springs MBF is happening in January. A lot of these workshops are going to be offered there in person at a beautiful, amazing resort in January. Think about that. It's awesome there. And then we have our website is being under construction. If you may have noticed, if you've been on it, please go to yogafitnews.com. That's our old site for now. That's the go-to until we can get this new website just fully functional. We do offer MyCAA, GI Bill, and if you're in the military transitioning out, you can do SkillBridge through us. Again, reach out to me. I'm going to stop. That was quick, hopefully quick enough. Christy, I'm going to turn it over to you. Please don't hesitate, put questions in the chat. I'm going to moderate that, and then I'm going to let Christy take it away. I'm going to remove my pen. Christy, you're it. Tag.
Okay, boy, I don't think I can talk that fast. So I'm
And
gonna
you shouldn't.
slow down a little.
Is there anything to slow the speed down of your voice? I probably should do that.
Yes.
All right. I didn't want to take up too much time. You're it.
Yeah, no, great review, great review. So I'm going to talk about, what yoga therapy is, and also then about our program specifically. So, potentially I would say all yoga is healing. So potentially all yoga could be yoga therapy. However, if we look at a little bit more technical definition, what we're looking at is using yoga therapy tools to deal with specific problems that might be going on, or specific issues that might be challenging you. And that could be mental health issues, it could be physical issues, it could be emotional issues. And so it's just taking our tools and creating individual programs when you're working with a certified yoga therapist. So we have a 945-hour program, and that is above the 200 hours. And when you take that program, most people end up getting their 300 on the way. So you could have already gotten your 300, then you can just start, or you can start right after your 200. So let me do it in my share screen, and I'll pull up this PowerPoint. Well, gotta find the PowerPoint. Hang on one second. I thought it was up. There it is. And there it is. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right. So our program, I'm Christy, as you know, and I co-direct the program with the fabulous Felicia Tomasco. And she's not here tonight, but she's been a practicing yoga therapist for a number of years. And she also brings a very strong Ayurveda background. And so the two of us, we do these intensives, which I'll explain what those are. We do these together. And the benefit for the student is they get just great perspectives from both of us as we're guiding you through this program. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of background about the program and what we've done to date. So as we mentioned earlier, we first were accredited by IYT, the International Association of Yoga Therapists, in 2019, and we were reaccredited in 2023, and we are accredited through 2029. That makes me breathe a big sigh of relief. I don't have to worry about that until 2029. So far we've graduated 5 cohorts, and that's 30 graduates, and 7 of those are still pending. Their coursework is completed, and they're just working on practicum hours. And we allow a lot of flexibility in our program. The way we have it set up, we call it student-centered. And so we do allow, if life comes up and you need to pause, we can make that happen for you, or you can take a little longer in your practicum than everybody else, and that's okay. So that's why you'll see some of these pending hours. Cohort 6, they have just entered the practicum phase. There's 6 of the students in that cohort currently, and so they'll be in the practicum phase for about another year. So they're working in their hometown, and they're working under a mentor, and delivering yoga therapy. They're doing a great job. And then cohort 7, they are just now entering intensive 3 in the next 1 to 2 months. And we have 18 students in cohort 7 entering intensive 3. And so that group is actually divided into 3 different groups. And that really allows us a lot of flexibility and timing that we can schedule based on everybody's life and what's going on. So cohort 8 is the next cohort that's coming up. We usually start a cohort when we have 10 people, and we do limit it to 10. It can be less than, but it's when we have 10 people ready to go. And I'll talk in a second about what does that mean? What does ready to go mean? We're looking somewhere in the range of spring 2025. So a couple changes with cohort 8. This is our first cohort with the new program. We have made some changes, what we call up leveling, added some new courses, took out some old courses. And then there is also a certification exam that is required for you to take after you graduate from the program, and IIYT administers that exam. We will prepare you. I know a lot of people get really tense, myself included, when the word exam comes up. It's like, oh my gosh, no. But we will prepare you. We have, we know what's on that exam. We're teaching to the competencies, and that's what the exam is on. So don't worry, we will help you through that. And then the new courses that we've added, we have a somatic yoga therapy lab, and this one is really designed to help you move into that first intensive with ease. So we're really going to look at body reading and assessment skills, and then how you create effective protocols for yoga therapy. And they're really not so much about poses, right? And that's where that idea of somatics comes in, as Shay mentioned, with people that have chronic pain or people that have movement issues going on. It's really what we do in yoga. This is our forte, is that body sensing, re-feeling the body again, getting to know it, befriending the body, and then figuring out how we're not moving correctly, and then moving it. And so that's what this lab focuses on. And then also introducing the paperwork that we use in intensive 1. So we created it to make it less of an overwhelm for intensive 1. And then therapeutic applications of sound and mantra. We've up-leveled sound and mantra. The original sound and mantra is a prerequisite for this therapeutic applications of sound and mantra. So it just takes you deeper. It's fantastic. Therapeutic Applications of Yoga Nidra is a new course, and it's a 2-day Nidra because we need 2 days in Nidra, right? That 1-day Nidra is just not enough. You feel really good, and then you just want more. And so Yoga Nidra 1 day is a prerequisite, and then it allows us to, we come out of this Applications of Yoga Nidra writing various Nidras. And it's also part of our new 100-hour Yoga Nidra specialist courses or certification that we have. And then the training, which isn't as new, but it's new to our therapy program, is Yoga Therapy for Grief and Loss. So these are the 4 new courses that we have with cohort 8. So how do you get accepted into it? So the requirements for acceptance into cohort 8, you must have completed all or most of the courses, and I'll look at those on the next slide. You also must complete the enrollment application, and that's an online form, and also be accepted into the program. And then there's homework assignments that need to be completed. All right, so those are the things that we need. So, I'm going to come back to this idea a second. I've got another slide on that. So our phase 1 foundational courses, our program is divided into 3 phases. The phase 1 is the courses. And these are considered our foundational courses. Healthcare 1, Healthcare 2, they're both 4-day trainings. Healthcare 1 is about the physical body. Healthcare 2 is about the subtle body. Healthcare 3, we learn about how to write a 9-pillar paper. We learn about it's more about marketing and mission statements. We also look a little bit into developing a protocol. And then we have biomedical aspects of yoga therapy for the upper and lower limbs, Ayurvedas 1 and 2, the sounded mantra, the nidra, and the lab are also in this foundation. Our mental health and trauma informed courses, you'll see all of our warrior courses here. This is when we go into intensive 2, we're focusing on this mental health and trauma informed, and we help you create your projects around these themes that you'll see here. And as Shay said, this really does form the foundation. Our warrior program forms the foundation of yoga therapy because we recognize that everybody has some level of trauma that happens at some point in the lives. And I always used to think about with yoga, before the big therapy focus, we always used to say, you're healing people that come to your classes that don't even know they need to be healed. They feel better. And so again, just really, really important programs here. And then our phase 1 module 3 focuses on chronic disease or lifestyle disease courses. And this is yoga therapy for the heart. I'm leading that this weekend. Yoga therapy for diabetes, yoga therapy for nervous system disorders, chronic pain, grief and loss, cancer care and recovery, and then yoga therapy for caregivers. So these are all of the courses that you would be taking. Phase 2 is what we call the intensive phase, and this phase lasts about a year. This is where you enter a cohort, and for the rest of the program, you're moving through the program with a group of people. And the group of people, this becomes your support system. You can bounce ideas off them, call them up, cry together. I mean, we don't really cry a lot, but it's a lot of work. So you get support from your cohort members. And they are online. We have found that when we moved this online in 2020, we weren't sure what we were going to do because it was designed at first to all be in person, but it works so well online that we're going to keep them online. It also makes it a lot more flexible and cheaper for everybody. You don't have to travel. So it's really, really going well. They are synchronous online, just like our courses are. You must be accepted into the program to get into this phase of the program. Again, must have completed all the courses, must have completed all the homework. And then it's a student-centered scheduling process where we try to schedule to as much as possible to make it convenient for everybody. And we try to rotate days, not just weekends, but some weekdays, some weekends. And then after intensives 2 and 3, the students will be delivering 2 20-hour practicum projects. And then so you'll come out of the intensives with 80 hours of completed practicum. And then once we go into the practicum is about 12 to 18 months. Again, it's very flexible depending on what's going on. Begins with a 3-day practicum readiness course, and there is an assignment involved with this that helps us determine that, yes, you are indeed ready to go out there and work with people. So in that year to 18 months, it's about 150, it is 150 hours of practicum delivery. The practicum hours are actively mentored. I do mentoring, Shay does mentoring. All of our mentors are faculty members as well. So you'll likely have known, we help you pick a mentor. It is your choice. And so it's probably somebody that you know if you've taken courses with us. You'll be writing 2 what we call 9-pillar papers based on the cases and conditions that you're seeing. It is completed in your hometown, so you find who you want to work with, or it can be done online. So you can do online delivery or in person. We do recommend a combination because that is now our new reality. You probably will, going forward, have some people in person, some people online. You'll have your preference. Like my preference is I like to work with people in person, but that doesn't always get to happen. And then the graduation is a 3-day course where you're giving a presentation of your final project, and you're doing your 9-pillar and then a case study of somebody or a group of people that you've worked with through the practicum year, and you're discussing the results. So it's really, these are really interesting. And then we also have the students do a public webinar, about a 15 to 20-minute presentation of their project. And you may have come to one of those and seen just the brilliant work that our students have done. So it's really exciting. So those are the 3 phases. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about this here. So depending on if you're going for your 300, which should I do? And it really depends. It depends on what you're interested in. On the enrollment form, you'll find some questions about, so in the traditional 300, these are the required courses. And these 3 courses are what we consider important foundational courses. While they're not formally in the yoga therapy program, we will be looking at your courses either with YogaFit or another school. That could be the case as well, that you've had some experience with restorative, that you have some advanced anatomy and alignment courses, and that you had some experience with pranayama. So these are things that you would carry forward. You would need to have a working knowledge of these things to go into the program. If you are all in on the trauma informed and that's where you want to go first, then do the trauma informed 300, and you can go back, you can backfill, and then just with both choices, choose from the list, the electives from the therapy list, and then it's going to be about the same number of courses regardless. Okay, so it really does depend what's the best for you. So we have some flexibility. So if you have questions, here's my contact information. And I also keep a list for email of specific, like I'll let people know when a new cohort is starting. That goes out in a newsletter as well. We have a new Warrior and Therapy newsletter, which is going out once a month, and a new one is coming pretty soon, like I think next week. And we're going to try to use that as our updating. But if there's ever a time where I need to let people know, like, hey, this course is coming up, and we know people are clamoring for courses sometimes, and I will send out a direct email to my therapy interest list. So if you would like to get on that list, just email therapy@yogafit.com and just put in the subject line therapy interest list, and I will add you to that. All right. Whew. Okay. How'd I do?
Really good. I think we have a competitor here for fastest talker. I don't know that I hold that title anymore, Christy. I'm gonna give it to you, maybe.
Yeah.
We do have a good question. I'm gonna let you answer it. Elizabeth asks, are the 300 RYT with trauma and with the trauma informed classes all a part of the 400 hours under the yoga therapy certification? So one could start towards their 300 RYT, but not commit to 900 hours now. Then get the additional 400 hours or complete to the additional 400 hours, but then later. So could you, and then complete the 400 hours to equal the certification of yoga therapist? So,
I'm not sure what that's asking.
yeah, I know. So yeah, there's a little bit of confusion on how many hours, like if you come in with already a 200, I think that's probably, Elizabeth, is that what you mean? If you're coming already in with a 200? You're muted, Elizabeth. I can see you talking, but you're muted. I'll unmute you. I don't know if I can. Ask to unmute. All right.
All right. Yeah. So I'm already an active yoga instructor. I already have my 200 hours, but I'm looking to go further. And so I was very interested into the therapist side, but I wanted to know if that 900, what was coming from that number. You may have already had said it too.
Oh, what makes up those hours? All right, I'll drop an overview into the chat here, and that 945 hours is made up of, it's a 600 and something hours of coursework, and then it's a certain number of hours of the intensives, and then it's 230 hours of practicum, plus mentoring hours. And so it's all added together and adds up to 945 hours. So if that makes sense. So when you're thinking about, say, you're gonna go get the 300 hours, most of those courses are in the therapy program. There's just two that are not. And it's somatosensory because it's new, and intergenerational trauma. So those are ADP courses. They'll benefit you. So it's just a matter of, if you decide you want to go that way for 300, and then you can just go back and fill in from the therapy list. I hope
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense.
And we can modify, we can really customize your 300. And so Elizabeth, if you are, if you do want to go that route, we can customize and we can plug and play other required workshops for the therapy program and that 300 RYT, and just make a custom one for you. And then that way, if you don't want to, kind of waste any workshops, right? You want to just only do towards the therapy, we can easily do that. We have a lot of flexibility in that. So the answer is yes, it will go towards your therapy. And then along the way, you don't have to commit. And in fact, we don't encourage you to commit until you've completed about, what did you say, 75, 80% of the coursework, the workshops that are required, because then you're ready for the practicums. Right. So that's our recommendation, is actually start chipping away at all those required workshops. You'll get your 300, you're about that time, you'll be ready to commit. That's the time to commit, after you get your 300, in fact.
Yeah, when you're really close. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things too, I keep that list for. Like, if you have let me know that I'm interested in cohort 8, and you're gathering up all of those courses, and maybe you just need to, maybe you need 5 more. And then, so you want to be really strategic about that, because you will need those courses mostly completed, especially the foundational courses to go into intensive 1. Like, we could say, if you don't have one of the module 3 courses like heart or chronic pain, you could pick that up a little bit down the road, not too far, because one of the reasons that we want you to have the courses completed before the intensives is, I'm not going to lie, the intensives are a lot of work, and most of that work happens outside of the 5 days. So there's homework, you're writing papers, you're putting together your project. And if you're also trying to scramble to get courses, we have found that becomes stressful for people. So we're trying to set people up for success as much as possible. And so we've learned, and that's why we're a little bit more stricter on that. Yeah, you get these courses completed before. But I'll send out an email and say, hey, I've got 4 spots left in cohort 8. If you're close, let's go. So
Yeah, I'll
helps.
just add in, we've had our students do amazing things. And that's the thing, is that what we're seeing is there's just been this big growth really since the pandemic, honestly. Like, who knew we were going to go through all that? But that really, we came out, yoga looked different when you came back into like your spaces and places. And, it's kind of a unique thing. We all recognize that we have been through something very stressful and traumatic, us and our kiddos. I actually have a Warrior Kids program that is a trauma-informed 100-hour certification that is recognized by Yoga Alliance. I didn't mention that for that reason. That's why I'm leading teen mental health this Saturday. I had 2 teens that went through the ringer, like I'm sure many of you are nodding your heads. And then the parent gets an ulcer. That would be me. So it works for all of us. But we came out of the pandemic, and what we started to hear feedback is that our yoga teachers were like, my students want a workshop for anxiety. People want this trauma informed. So people don't want to just go to a regular yoga class. I shouldn't say they don't. They do, but they are looking for more therapeutic yoga classes, or people are working with people one-on-one as yoga teachers, which, by the way, is a lot more profitable than leading a group class. I mean, group classes are great, but I make a lot more money with my private clients as yoga therapists. Or as a yoga teacher, you could work privately with some of this information. Of course, it gives you that step up compared to everybody else. When I can talk to you about your nervous system. Yeah, I understand how the HPA axis works, your stress response system. This is why your gut is a gut brain, right? Like, there is like those kind of just factual information that we provide you. So we're really at YogaFit, if you're not familiar with us, maybe you're starting to get that idea, is we are science in nature. We use English. Yes, we can speak in Sanskrit. Most of the time in yoga therapy, that's not meeting your clients where they're at. So, I go to bases a lot of times to bring these programs to the military as part of the trauma informed. I don't speak in Sanskrit to them. That wouldn't be the right kind of language to use. I speak science and they love it. They're like, oh, bring some more of that on. That gets their buy-in. So it really, I feel like we prepare you so well in that regards, regardless if you become a yoga therapist or not. Trauma-informed yoga is here to stay, and we're going to need it more than ever. Lately, I don't know if you've looked around, but the world is not becoming any less stressful. So we need these, so they're practical, and even in the workplace, in the corporate world, right? If you have a stressful job, of course, Western medicine is really moving towards integrative healthcare. Western medicine, it cannot handle all the trauma. And a lot of the reasons people go see their doctor are stress related in nature. We know this. Yoga helps with over 117 different health conditions that are autoimmune related or chronic pain related or mental health related, that people are like, I'm tired of taking this pill for it. I mean, pills can be helpful, but man, we get to the root cause of it. So we're these people out there. I feel like we're the mental health professionals as well. We're helping out with the Western medicine problem of all these people in chronic pain. So anyway, join us. I think I'm done with my pitch. I think I've convinced you, right?
Yes.
Any questions, or Christy, you'd like to, anything else come to mind, or questions, please speak up.
I have a question.
Yeah, please, James. Good to hear from you.
It's good to see both of y'all. But somebody spoke before me, so I'll let them go. Give it a whirl. I heard somebody behind me.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, I think that was Jessica. Do you want?
Oh, thank you, James. You're so lovely. My quick question for you gals is if the GI Bill covers any of the yoga therapy program.
Yes. Let me roll that back. What I can tell you, what it counts as for your 200-hour warriors. All of those workshops are covered by the GI Bill now under reimbursement. That's what's covered. That's what I've been able to get covered by the GI Bill. I'm going to maybe expand that. There's complicated reasons why I'm not right now. So the answer is qualified, yes. Any in the 200-hour warriors, you can get reimbursed for under the licensing and certification program, the post 9/11 GI Bill. Just reach out to me and I'll send you that information on how to do that. Yes, the Warriors 100 is still available, Kelly. And it's basically level 1, healing emotional and physical trauma, restoring balance, training the parasympathetic, Yoga Fit for Warriors, PTSD, and then any one of those other workshops in the 200 can count as your elective. So you get like 5 others to choose from. So if you're like addiction recovery or chronic pain or warrior kids, any one of those. So good question. Yes, the 100 hours is still there. No, not the 300 is by the Elizabeth, but the 200-hour warriors is, which is part of the, like, that would get you close to that 300 RYT. So that's another reason maybe to go that route if you have the GI Bill. Yeah. So good question. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, James, what's your question?
So first thing of all, thank you so much for having this class or this workshop. It's really great. It kind of helped me re-put some stuff in my head back together. My question is, when it comes to, I guess, getting your mindset and everything like that together, do you happen to have like the Yoga Fit Therapy book list of, outside of the books that you already maintain for your courses, are there some additional books or an additional kind of like guide that helps you pull your mindset together by particular reading so that you can have the science, the books, the dialogue, have that all kind of available to you so that instead of, trying to dig for it or necessarily finding it all on your own, is there some sort of like guide that helps you go, oh, well, we have this research per this particular thing that says how meditation is helpful for the body?
Can I answer that first and then you can go? One of the things that I think people begin to realize as they start to go through the intensives. These are called integrative intensives. And so you know how we do all of these courses, and then we take it for the weekend, and then we close the book, and then we use some of it, but maybe not all of it, and then we forget. I've opened a manual so many times, like I completely forgot that we had this in here, right? So there's a lot of information that you've had that you know, your manuals are a stockpile of so much information. What I find is that people are gaining confidence during these intensives because they realize, oh, that I'm already doing this. And we take the simplest of steps. Yes, there are so many books, and we do recommend some additional ones as we go through the intensives that for you guys to read. Not a lot more, but you know, and you'll find resources as you write your papers, because part of the intensive projects are that you will be writing a paper for each intensives on a specific subject, so you get a chance to deep dive. So I'm going to say there's not one book that's going to give you everything. That's like an encyclopedia, but I will just say that you already know enough to be successful where you are right now. You really do.
Yeah, there's a lot of books actually, and I was just picking. I was like, oh, this one. I'm recommending it for somatosensory too, but it's really cool. It's somatic practice and yoga therapy. So there's been a lot of books released. I think was it chronic? Was it what's Marlissa's book, Chrissy? That's a really good one for the chronic pain.
Yeah. Yoga science and pain or something.
In healthcare or something, or yoga
Yeah.
therapy.
Pain
Yeah.
science and yoga therapy or something like that.
Yeah. Pain science yoga therapy. So I was trying to think of others that might give a more of a general overview of yoga therapy, but there is the big one. What is that one? Is it yoga therapy and healthcare? I was looking for it on my desk. I don't have it. I have to go dig for it. And I don't want to do that right now. So I was like, dang it. I know there's another one that has kind of general in nature, but I don't have it out right now.
Yeah, I dropped in the student handbook, and
Oh, that's good.
I believe it has our book list in there with each course. So that would be something to look at. And then you can also go to the YogaFit News website and look on the materials page, and that gives, it's like a snapshot of all of the books that we have. And then there are more, like one Shay just held up, and there's there's a lot of resources out there.
Yeah. And another thing I was just gonna say, and then I'll be quiet. Our students also have different kind of specialties. So like as a yoga therapist, I mostly work with people who have anxiety, depression, trauma, PTSD. That's usually lots of people. So, you know, that's a big catch-all, but that is kind of my specialty, is more working in that realm. We have people who work with people with Parkinson's. We have people who work brain injuries, mobility conditions, right? So you don't, you know, gosh, my goodness, we've had people say like, I learned more in my master's or learned here than I did in my master's. Yeah, obviously we're not making you doctors per se, but we're covering the whole human body and every system in it. So you're going to find what you really are drawn to. And maybe you already have a group of people. Again, like I said, some people work in the addiction and recovery realm or with chronic pain. So you're going to find a group of people, or you're going to find kind of more of where you fall into, like, I really like working in this realm. And that's wonderful. We're going to encourage that. I mean, that's the beauty of it, is that, you know, it really is. That's why you can meet people where they're at, and you're going to feel comfortable working with anybody pretty much in any condition. That being said, I mean, we really do prepare you well. So you should get excited about it. Yeah. All right. Any questions? Any final thoughts? This has been super fun. We would love to see you guys in a workshop in the future, regardless of yoga therapy. So please reach out. You're wondering what to take, where to start. If you just like, I just want to try something simple, think about those webinars or weekly series of self-care. And we'll send a follow-up email that has all that information. All right, Marianne, see you then. Yay, Team Mental Health. So we'll send a follow-up email that has all that information and then the links to it and how to register. And of course, you can always set up a time with me or Christy to talk about it. Like if you're like, I'm really interested, but I have some more, you know, personalized questions. I didn't want to take up time. We get that. We will happily talk with you. Right. Christy, any final words?
No, I'm just really want to thank you guys for taking the time to be here with us tonight. We think we have the best program out there, but we're not biased or anything.
I know. Well, we are biased,
Maybe a
but we
little.
do. But that being said, we do. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Happy Halloween. Be safe out there. Yes, and we'll be just everybody. Let's all just, hold each other these next couple of weeks and go out there and bring calm and peace into the world. Thank you for being that presence in the world. Thank you, Kendra. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, friends.
Bye. Thanks for coming.
Bye.